Welcome back. Loan Doctor is an innovative financial services company with a focus on the healthcare industry. Now with me is CEO and Dr. Edgar Radjabli to explain more about how Loan Doctor works. So welcome, Edgar. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Jay. It's my pleasure.
So this is all healthcare, right? Dental and veterinary even. And so tell me about the company.
That's correct. Loan Doctor focuses on the healthcare industry, and we work with physicians, dentists, veterinarians, optometrists, osteopaths. So anyone that basically has a doctorate degree in the healthcare industry, those are our clients that we can help.
Okay, and how do you specifically help them?
So what we do is we focus on all of their financing needs, and that includes anything that a doctor might need throughout their career. So for example, buying a practice, starting a practice, commercial real estate, physicians mortgage programs, and even student loan refinance. We are a one-stop shop where they can come to us and know that we can take care of them, give them the best rate and terms for every step of the way for any financing that they may need throughout their career.
And as I was talking to you before we sat down to do the interview, I said this is kind of like the USAA for the healthcare industry. Is that a proper analogy?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's very correct. We've found that there is really a need in the healthcare industry to have a one-stop shop because a lot of doctors are not familiar with the many different programs that are available to them. And those programs are typically very, very competitive, so they can get some really great terms because of the fact that doctors usually represent a very good credit risk to the lender. But doctors don't know about it, and we're here bridging that gap and being able to provide that for them.
Well, that's interesting because they could just go to a normal bank, but you have like an area of expertise that you might be able to help them get a product with a more favorable interest rate or something like that that they couldn't find through a traditional bank.
That's correct. A traditional bank typically will lend to a doctor on the same terms that they lend to any business. They don't have that specialty industry knowledge that we have. Whereas in our case, we know how to properly understand and rate the credit risk of a doctor. And also we know that historically, doctors have financials going back 2007, 2008, and those financials are very stable. So they do represent successful businesses that can weather a recession that perhaps is upcoming in a very effective way.
Now, you are a physician. Why else? What makes the healthcare industry especially ripe for this kind of special service?
So one of the things that we see right now is that people are concerned about the economy and perhaps a recession that's coming along maybe next year or the year after. And as lenders and institutional investors look at the different fixed income products, like what can they buy or originate in terms of loans, they see the healthcare industry as being one of the healthiest industries in terms of the loan repayment. So as a lender, if you're looking at lending to restaurants versus doctors, we know that restaurants usually are going to have a very hard time during recession, right? Whereas a doctor, has those financials dating back 10 years, 20 years, and that represents a very attractive market to be able to lend to.
Okay, now give me a little history of the company. So when did you establish the company? How have you grown? Talk about that.
Yeah, so Loan Doctor started in the lending business in 2013. That's when our team originally started working with different financial institutions and lenders to create opportunities for these products. I was actually, during the time that I was in clinical practice, I helped create some of these products for doctors that were very attractive to them, like physicians mortgage programs where it's 100% loan to value, so you don't have to put any money down, for example. From that, we grew and we launched the Loan Doctor brand as a consumer-facing brand, just to have something there that people can really identify with. And Loan Doctor was a name that kind of makes a lot of sense. It combines what we do and obviously our target demographic.
And you're helping them with their financial health,
yes,
right? So,
exactly. Yeah.
So and institutional investors can also buy these loans or invest in them somehow?
Right. So what we do is we have a two-part revenue stream. On one hand, we work with lending partners that we will originate the loans with, and a lot of the loans we actually originate ourselves. When we originate the loans, we don't keep them on our books. So instead of holding those loans, we actually resell them to institutional investors. The reason why they're particularly interested in those loans and buying them is because of the very, very high grade credit. These are AAA A1, AAA A2 rated loans, and then institutional investors are very hungry for those. They can't really get them anywhere else because the banks that do healthcare lending do want to keep them on the books because they're such a good asset. So we're in that unique position where we're able to originate those loans and resell them. And whenever we resell them, that generates revenue for Loan Doctor as well.
Okay, so now you also have a new product, the HCF High Yield CD. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so the HCF High Yield CD is a very unique savings product. That is actually available to anyone, not just our doctor clients. And it pays an industry-leading 6% APY, which is much higher than you would get.
We need to repeat that because I think my bank pays like 1%.
Right. So
6%? How are you able to do that?
yeah, so the way we're able to do it is in two ways. Number one, when the funds are idle that we use for loan origination, they earn interest, and then we also generate revenue from originating and reselling the loan. So ourselves, we make approximately 6.5 to 7% cash-on-cash return, and we pay that back 6% to the depositors. The reason why we pay back the majority of our revenue to the depositors is simply because we can. Being a very high-tech company, everything we do is done electronically. All of our documents are signed electronically. We don't need to have hundreds of branches across the country and staff them with thousands of tellers like a bank does. That allows us to have very low overhead, be very efficient, and be able to pay back a large deposit interest rate to the CD holders.
And so thank you so much, Edgar, for coming in and explaining Loan Doctor to us.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Fascinating business.
Thank you,
and thank you as well for joining us. We'll be right back.